It's John Keeling at Potato Expo 2018. We're on the trade show floor. The last day of the show, but a lot of excitement, and we've got to talk a little bit about potatoes and potato research. I've got two very knowledgeable people with me, Dr. Neil Gudmestad and Stewart Grey, and we're going to talk a little bit about what goes on in potato research, and in particular, collaboration between university researchers and USDA ARS researchers. Stewart, kick it off a little bit, talk a little bit about what you kind of work on generally, and then how that has involved industry, both in terms of feedback and also work with your collaborators at some of the universities.
Okay, so I'm a plant virologist. I work on plant virus diseases and management of plant virus diseases, many of which are major problems for the potato industry. And so over the past 15 years, I've worked very closely with the potato industry to learn more about their problems and to work with fellow scientists from universities and with ARS to develop solutions for those problems, or try to develop solutions for those problems. The industry is very important because they're the ones that are sort of telling us what their problems are, and also helping us with the research in terms of funding, but also perhaps more importantly, giving us feedback on our research as we go along and making sure that it's really relevant to their problems and can help them in the end.
So both from a priority point of view as well as a sort of funding point of view, it's sort of additive between USDA and what the industry is doing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think that it's really imperative that the industry is involved in sort of helping us to prioritize research projects and also in evaluating the research projects and making sure that we stay relevant.
Well, Neil, let me turn to you as a academic, a university researcher of some distinguished.
Oh, thank you, John.
State. From your side, what you're doing in your research goals, and elucidate on those a little bit, what do you see the level of collaboration between the universities and the industry and the government funding through ARS and USDA?
So I work at North Dakota State University, and potatoes have a lot of diseases. In fact, everything that attacks it are carried in or on the seed.
I guess that's good for you if you're a researcher doing it.
It is the best job in the world for security-wise. Job security is a plant pathologist, and it's particularly a potato pathologist. But I work on 8 or 9 different pathogens right now in my lab. And you can't possibly have all that expertise yourself on an individual. So I've been able to form collaborative relationships with ARS researchers like Stewart Grey, or Dennis Halterman in Wisconsin, or Jonathan Whitworth in Idaho. And those collaborations are vital for me in order to be able to move a project along the way that the growers want to. And everything I work on I work on it because the industry tells me to work on it. I work in Minnesota and North Dakota. They always have priorities of what they think is important. And now that my position's been endowed by the potato industry, I have people from Idaho and Washington and Maine telling me, we need you to work on this. So that collaboration between USDA, ARS, the growers themselves, and then when we write grants, you know that unless we have stakeholder support in many of these grant systems, you cannot get the money.
Right.
Stakeholder input is absolutely critical. So it's a wonderful interaction between industry, ARS, and the academics such as myself.
So how about opportunities to provide the results of your research back to the industry? I assume that Expo provides some opportunity for that, but how does that work, and is that working well?
It works very well. You know, I can't remember the last Expo I didn't speak at about some aspect of my research, and it's something different every time because, like I said, I'm working on 8 or 9 different diseases, and it's also important. Like one of the things I talked a little while ago about what I learned here is in discussing things with other growers who sought me out. I had some really interesting conversations about some diseases that they had questions about that nobody is really working on, and so I have to figure out how I'm going to address those in the future because it sounds like it's another emerging problem.
So just being here at this event made a difference.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good. Stewart, What's the latest project that you're working on, and kind of what's the team that's working on it that you're excited about?
Yeah, so we have a national project right now, and I think that's one of the nice things about ARS is we can work on a national scope. We're not associated with any state university, so we have the opportunity to work across the nation. We have a project right now, which Neil is part of, on tuber necrotic viruses, which involves a lot of different virus diseases. We have over 30 investigators from 12 different institutions. Most of them are universities from Maine to Washington. And we also work very closely with seed certification agencies at all the different states that are producing seed potatoes. As Neil mentioned, this is all predicated on industry support. If the industry said, no, this is not important, there's no way we would have gotten all this millions of dollars of funding from the USDA funding agencies to be able to do this work. And we have an advisory council, which is made up of many people from the potato industry, all aspects of the industry, that are constantly reviewing exactly what we're doing and giving us feedback.
And they've been very engaged because
really
they have redirected some of the work that we're doing.
Absolutely.
Now, this is an emphasis. You got to put some resources here. And so I've had a little shift in what I'm doing, specifically because the stakeholders said, we need this. So, you know, it's great interaction.
Well, other than we just never have enough money, it sounds like things are going okay. There's nothing wrong with this if more money wouldn't fix. Well, listen, it's been a great opportunity to talk to both of you, and we'll be cutting back now, and there'll be more content coming up quickly on live from Potato Expo trade show floor in the eye.